Dave Palumbo here with an RX Muscle news update. The IFBB Chicago Pro men's prejudging has turned out to be a pretty solid three-man competition. One of the pre-show favorites, Blessing Awadibu, seems to be out of the running here. Just his legs were not hard enough. He just didn't bring the conditioning that he needed to really compete for a title here today. But the top three guys that were in contention were at least who I expected to see. I knew Stan DeLongo was going to bring the conditioning. He brought it the last two shows we saw him at. I know he was coming here for a win. He might leave with a win. He is the most conditioned guy on this stage. He is also not the biggest guy on this stage, which could hurt him because John Delarosa, who is a perennial Olympian, he's won many pro shows in the past. He is the veteran in this lineup for sure. He has got the most complete physique as far as I'm concerned. The guy doesn't have any gaps or any weaknesses in his body. He's got the best pair of legs on stage. He's got, stage presence. He's got, pecs, arms. He's got a back. He's got glutes. The only thing, and the only vulnerability he has here is I would like to see him a little harder. That's the only knock I get. And I still think he's good enough to win. Now I think that this show is close enough that they're going to probably judge at night. But the rookie here in this lineup is Justin Shier, who won the Nationals. I've interviewed him after his big win, and he said he was going to come and bring a pro debut that was going to be worthy of people talking about him. I think he did that. I think he beat John and Stan in a lot of shots. I think he's got probably the most future potential of any guy in this lineup. I think for certain this will be an Olympia guy. He might be a top 5 Olympia guy for many years to come. He's got a complete physique. He could have been a little harder. He's a tad bit harder than John Delarosa, but Stan is harder than both of these guys. So the door is open here. Delarosa should have won this show. If he would have come in with perfect conditioning, he in my mind, he wins this show. I still have him by a hair here, personally. Stan is definitely the hardest guy in the lineup, but he looks weak in certain shots, like front double bicep. He doesn't have the arms of Justin and Delarosa. Will that hurt him? I don't know. Judges sometimes really like conditioning. I always say conditioning wins shows. So this could be Stan's show. If he loses, it's going to be because these other guys outmassed him. You never know. Justin might win this show too, because Justin has got a lot of muscle. He really doesn't have many weaknesses. Delarosa does expose him in certain areas because he is so complete, but Justin is a little bit harder in certain poses, I thought. So I think it's really close. I personally like Delarosa for the win. I think these judges are going to have to take another look and put them through their paces tonight. I think if Delarosa comes back drier and harder, I think he wins this show. I think if Justin comes back, better, drier and harder, and John doesn't, I think Justin can win this show. And I think if Justin and Delarosa don't come back harder and maybe come back a little softer, I think that they'll give it to Stan because Stan's conditioning is superb here. So all three guys delivered the goods. It's a great top three here in Chicago. We won't know who's going to win this show till later tonight, and we'll do a wrap-up after that show is over. For now, I'm Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle news update.